Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. We have had a busy week, which was kind of expected. There's been movement in the market, there's been movement in individual names, there's been a lot of news. So just overall, there's just a lot going on, and it's probably going to continue to be that way for a little while because we are only now just
Hey
starting
guys, can you
earnings
hear me?
season. So as we kind of get into this environment where a lot of news is coming out, what I like to do is what I call like fishing for news. Okay, so meaning um, I like to try to catch an event when that event isn't necessarily priced in. And what I mean by that is, oftentimes companies will have, so if it's a biotech, it'll have data, right, on a certain, over like a certain window. So a company may say in January, a company may say in the first quarter, right? So they don't give you a specific date. It's more like a window. And then how that lines up with like weeklies or maybe like couple week options, right? You can potentially get some like really cheap contracts and potentially catch like a big move based off of when that data is released, right? Also, in the beginning of January, and this is something we talked about pretty frequently, is that you tend to get the holiday sales updates from retailers in the first week to 2 weeks of January. So um, Target, Macy's, Kohl's, these are names that typically and have in the past given holiday sales updates. And a lot of times the stocks can have pretty significant reactions, right? Because it's the holiday sales update for a retailer. So obviously a pivotal quarter. Um, Now, when you're looking at options, you'll notice that on some of these, like on like Target or like Macy's or even like Kohl's, the premiums on the options aren't really that high. It's because I mean, there's no like guarantee that the holiday updates are going to be coming out or holiday sales guidance are going to be coming out, right? Or for like Gilead, this is like a name that I've been looking at because they've been expected to have some data for a little while. So people thought that it was going to come early January. So if you look at like the weekly contracts or the very short-term contracts, they're just not priced for an event, right? So if an event were to come, right, for Gilead, if they were to release like this upcoming phase 3 readout where people have been anticipating, it could be a pretty big move for contracts that are priced pretty low, right? Um, so I like to like fish, meaning like I like to like pick up some like cheap options, knowing that the probability of these playing out might be low, right? Like again, it all comes down to timing, and if the data doesn't come out, these low probability options probably aren't going to work, right? Or they're going to take a hit. But it comes down to it's just managing risk, right? Like if I'm fishing and it's a lower probability of event, then my risk needs to be lower as well, right? Because I don't want to like pile into options even though they're cheap, I get it. But if it's like a lower probability of that data might be released this week or next week, then I really need to like plan accordingly, right? Because I want to have some in case it does come out because I like the risk reward, but also acknowledge that it's just maybe a lower probability of that happening. So keep the risk low, right? Like that's what I'm really trying to drive home. If you like to do what I like to do and like fish for events and try to like time some big catalysts with some like really short term options, it's about managing how much money you're putting in, right? Like keep the overall risk level down because the probability of it happening might be lower, right? So you really need to like factor that in when you're just deciding how much dollar commitment, how many contracts you want to pick up because if the hit ratio on your normal trading is maybe 5 out of 10, then these types of setups could be way less. Maybe it's only like 2 out of 10 or 1 out of 10, right? So you really need to like plan accordingly. All right. So it's just something that was on the top of my mind because we are at a period in January where there's oftentimes a lot of news. Sometimes it's not scheduled, right? It's only like a window, or maybe they've done it in the past. So you can really find some like good cheap options that maybe could be like a pretty nice reward if the news does end up coming out. But again, managing risk, keeping expectations in line with what the probability of that working might be. Okay. But again, I'm expecting a busy few weeks now. I mean, January's here, earnings season's here, and it's been volatile too. The overall market's moving, so should be a lot going on. All right, so if you like this video and you're looking for more information about trading events with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. Have a great night, stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.